The week in the stations department has been one that we all primarily had to deal with. One of the things that popped up this week and last week is the issue of overtime. Now, as everyone has been telling me, overtime is not guaranteed, but it's nice when it's given, and so is the money. I spoke to some people over at CED, and they said that when CED consolidated with the stations department, OT became an issue. Okay. Does management know what they're doing? According to the people over at CED, no, they do not. Now, I heard they tried this before and it failed. Staley, what you say?
It's like this here. There's always overtime, but I don't think it's the issue that a lot of people is pointing to. Is the more so that management is giving the union this is what we'll do. This is what we'll do to your workers. We won't give them the overtime. We won't do this because there's always overtime. It's always been that way. Yeah. But what they do is they challenge the intelligence again of the union and how hard they want to fight them. Of course, overtime is not guaranteed. Contractually, it states you only guaranteed 40-hour pay week. But there's always overtime. But like I said, if they can continue to do what they're doing, pulling cleaners and making them do 3, 4, and 5 stations, and plus their jobs, guess what? It ain't gonna be no overtime because they saying they get more work done for less. For less.
Okay, let me bring Brother Ward in here. So, talk to me about overtime. You've been down here for a long time. Talk to me about overtime, sir.
I mean, as far as the clerks go, they always got overtime.
Yes, station agents always have overtime.
The cleaners.
Right.
It's exactly. The cleaners that's suffering right now. And see, that comes from management, like Stanley said, playing the intelligence of the union. Because of the simple fact, when you go to the pick room, they ask you, do you want to work overtime? They ask you that. If there wasn't no overtime, why would they ask that question?
Correct.
You know, and this comes with the snow duty, you know, the people bailing out and the management getting pissed off. And now they coming at us like, all right, we ain't gonna give them no overtime. But see, one thing you gotta understand, you get paid to do 3 stations. Some get paid to do 2 stations. Some get paid to do 1 station. Guess what? I don't care if they pull you 3 times out the day. Guess what? All you do is your 3 stations. All right? Whether it be 1 on yours and 2 somewhere else, that's it. Don't break your back going to do another station and then coming back and doing all 3 of yours. Because transit look at it like, okay, if they could do that and not say nothing, fuck it. Let's let it run with it.
Let me bring
that's what they've been doing.
Let me bring Brother Block in here. Brother Block, talk to us about the overtime and things of that nature, sir.
Well, the overtime I stopped doing a little while back for the simple fact, Ward just said it. When they trying to issue you an extra station, you have a certain time to do 1 station. So if your schedule says 1 station or 2 stations, but then you offering me another station, then I'm telling you, this is a lot of work. You know, the older you get, it's more wear and tear on your body. You try to explain this to a supervisor. You get a lot of supervisors like to come down and be bullies. I'm not that bullying type. You're not going to be bullying me. And you try to explain it to them. You try to bring it to the our union reps who don't protect us. Some come out, but very seldom, because it's like a hardship on them. Oh, just do the other station. No, but that's not what our schedule. Why should I do all of this extra station on a regular basis more than twice a week when that's not what I signed up for? That's not what the job that I picked.
Brother Munoz, come in
so
about the...
y'all all automatically just want to constantly violate.
Brother Munoz, come in with the overtime situation. Talk to me.
The overtime, I mean, Blocker and Wood basically said it that if you got a station and they pull you, well, don't rush because you're just gonna hurt yourself. All right, you're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna put wear and tear on your body. You're never gonna complete everything, and if you do, management is gonna take advantage of you later on down the road. The other thing also is there's no overtime. They claim there's no money in the budget for overtime, but yet they got $300 million to give to outside contractors.
Yeah,
Wonder
that's
how
what
that happened.
Yeah,
I wonder how that happened. Utano, Shirley Martin, and Witchett, didn't they sign that agreement to allow private cleaners on board?
yes, they did.
Okay, so they're responsible for CTAs not getting overtime.
Right,
They're
because see,
responsible. Our own union staff, our own cleaners in the back.
the system shutdown was for cleaning and disinfecting. So overtime was available. So who is doing this overtime? The private contractors. COVID money should be used for transit workers. Now, in the last CED meeting, they said that overtime was pending. Now, Stanley, let me ask you a question. Is there a situation where supervision gets a bonus if they hold back and they make more money, something of that nature?
No, what you might be referring to is at the end of the year, what's ever left in the budget is split amongst the superintendents as far as expend. That's why usually at the end of the year, it's hard to find supplies because all that's not spent is split among superintendents and management. So that's probably the issue, what you're talking about.
Yeah, someone brought it up to me in that which this is being done on purpose so they get a bigger bonus.
Right. Yes, that's true. That's at the end of the year. So going towards Christmas and all that. Yeah. That's been something that's been going on for a minute.
Interesting. Well, also because we're in an election year, it comes down to a lot of things that this union is going to do, and they are now turning up the stakes. From my study, the contract has nothing to do with the terminology of bad standing, but the constitution of the union does. In last year's election in the stations department, over 3,000 members in good standing, hear me now, 3,000 members in good standing did not receive ballots. So I'm asking members in the stations department to contact the union hall, update your address so that the address issue will not be a factor in you receiving your ballot. Now, the union is using bad standing to prevent members from running. Charlie Munoz, what you say?
Yeah, Evangeline Byers, she actually posted a video saying that at the e-board meeting that the union mentioned that if you were out with COVID, they may not have taken the union dues out of your paycheck. Okay, that automatically disqualifies you from running or from voting. But we're not being told that. Okay, they're saying it, but we're not being told that. And the way I see it is that they're gonna wait till the last minute when they're gonna see people who are running or people who are voting against staying united, and they're gonna say, "Wait a minute, your vote is not eligible because you're in bad standing, or you can't run because you're in bad standing," and it's false. It's false. What they're trying to tell you is false. They're trying to manipulate the vote, and I can guarantee you that they're also gonna try to suppress the vote. They're gonna send the ballots to the wrong address like they did last time. They're gonna do everything they can to try to stay in office. They know they're in trouble, especially in the stations department. They know they're in trouble, and they're gonna try to do everything they can to stay in office.
Very true. Staley, give me your take on this whole thing, this thing about bad standing and people who are running for office.
Well, people that are running, or just people that want to vote, period, should check and see what their status are. I hear the number and everything has been changed to Earl Phillips' number. He's in charge of it now, and you need to just call and check and make sure you're not just in good standing, but that your address is correct to make sure you get a ballot.
Well, I mean, you know, I'm looking at the Constitution, and it is written in the Union Constitution that it is the job of the union to notify a member if they are in bad standing. That's Article 13, Section 3, and it reads as such: where for any reason the dues of a member who pays his or her dues by check-off authorization are not checked off by the employer for any month or months, said member shall remain in good standing until 30 days after the mailing to him or her by registered mail of notice informing him or her that they are in bad standing. This union has not done this. They're not doing their part, and they are probably, and it's intentionally, putting people in bad standing. They're not doing their part. Munoz, what you say?
Yeah, it's obvious that why are they hiding this? I mean, they know the elections are coming up in 6 months. So why haven't they informed us that about this situation? They don't want to. You see, that's the way they want to stay in office. They know, especially in the station department, they know that they screwed the members so bad during this COVID crisis. They know that they screwed us with this contract too. They know that they screwed us by bringing in private contractors to do our jobs. They know that we're all in the station are so pissed off that we're gonna vote them out, and they're doing everything they can to stay in office.
Brother Ward, what you say?
Well, I said this about 3-4 meetings ago. You know, for the people that do watch our videos, you need to check to make sure that you're in good standards, because the union is not going to let you know. They're going to keep that information to themselves and use it for their benefits. 9 times out of 10, you're going to vote against them. And they're not going to say nothing until they get your vote and they see you didn't vote for them. And they're going to be like, oh, well, this vote is invalid because this person is in bad standards. So like I say to the people out there, to the members, check your status. Make sure that you're in good standings with the union so that your vote can be processed.
Yeah, I agree. Brother Blocker, what you said?
I agree with what Ward just said. Because I was trying to think of the time when I was in bad standing, but I got a letter to state that I was in bad standing and how much union dues I owed and so forth. So right now, I really can't say. Like you say, you got to check your status. That's
Now,
it.
if any member is running for an office and you are sick, IOD, things of that nature, you should never ever be put in bad standing. That's not me talking. This is the Union Constitution, and we're going to section 13, section 17. 17, we're looking at section 4. It says this: any union member who is prevented by illness, injury, or layoff from earning any wages in the calendar month shall be excused from paying dues. From such non-payment shall not affect his or her standing with the union. Now, in order for them to actually maintain their good standing, they have to require a file with his or her local financial secretary, treasurer. Okay, and in that case, the individual that's out on comp or illness or sick primarily will be still in good standing. Stanley, what you say?
Yes, that's accurate. That's true. That's in the Constitution, yeah. And people should be aware of that, especially those that are out on comp. They should make sure they are aware of this and not be denied the right to vote or participate in elections.
Munoz, what you say?
I was bounced out, so you have to
Okay.
ask me the question.
Yeah, the situation is that what I said is that any member primarily who is ill, who is sick, laid off, or they're injured, they maintain their good standing status, but they have to send a letter to the financial secretary treasurer to request an exoneration or a waiver.
I like that that they want registered mail, but then if you send them an email or a fax, they won't accept it, even though uh, the law specifies that an email and or fax is just as good as a regular snail mail. So the union is always trying to pull some slick shit, and this is one of the things that they're pulling. We all have cell phones now, so we can send email, but they don't want that because they know that we'll have to make an effort to go to the post office, register that letter, make sure that they get it. Always, there's always some sort of trickery with these people. Always.
Mhm.
Now, Brother Block and Brother Ward, you guys want coming in here with anything?
No,
Nope.
good.
Okay. Now, Article 13, Section 4 deals with members in bad standing. Now, this is the Constitution. Any member in bad standing shall be ineligible to attend union meetings. Now, it amazes me that they would stop a person from bad standing from running, but we have a union hall meeting at the end of the month, and I can guarantee you that there are people who are in there that are in bad standing. And according to the Constitution of the Union, if you are in bad standing, you shall be ineligible to attend the union meetings. This is a double standard. This is a double standard. Stanley, what you say?
It is, well, it is mostly because of laziness, because what they should be doing is having somebody at the door with books and let members in that are in good standing, and pointing out to the ones that are in bad standing. But there's a policy that's supposed to be in place to inform people of them being in bad standing.
Correct.
Now, when you first fall into bad standing, the union is supposed to contact you, right, and give you the opportunity to explain to them why you're in bad standing.
Yep.
See, and they haven't been doing that over the years. And the same people that's in there, just a different person now, but part of the past regime, is maintaining the same status quo. You know, they're not going to tell you and explain it to you, give you a chance to tell the union why you're in bad standing. You see, all of this is because they don't want it to be a matter of record, because if you're going to speak, you're going to speak to them before, while the e-board is sitting there. And they don't want it a matter of record of how you feel about, they don't want to take a chance. And having a lot of people come up there and speak badly of them. So that's why they suppresses the process of informing people of them being in bad standing.
Let me point out that there's a rule in there that you can't run for office or hold office if you're in bad standing. Is that correct?
That is correct. It says here that any member in bad standing shall be ineligible to attend the union meetings, or they cannot be a candidate for hold any office or any position. If you are in bad standing, you cannot vote in any union election or referendum. Otherwise, to participate in union affairs, he or she shall not be restored to good standing until he or she meets her financial obligations to the union. Go.
Let me give you a little history lesson. Who's the president of the union right now? Tony Utano?
Right.
Yep.
A couple of years ago, he was in bad standing. He wasn't paying his dues, and he ran for office. Okay, he got away with it.
Double standard.
Also, Derek Echeverry was another one. Okay, Derek, the former VP of stations and the current division chair, he was in bad standing. All right, and there's a number of them. I have a list of them. I don't know if you ever seen that list. Staley's seen that list.
Yeah, I have a copy of that list.
Yeah, some of them have already retired. Some of them are still there. but they ran
Mhm.
for office and they were in bad standing. So it's not how you follow the rules. It's who you know.
But don't you
And
think it's strange for them to basically allow people in bad standings to come to a union meeting? But then if you're in bad standings, they say, oh, no, 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 you can't run for office. I mean, that's a problem there.
I'm sure if I was part of Staying United and I was in bad standing, they would ignore it and let me run.
We as members pay the NTA for dues check off, so no member should be in bad standings. Okay, in my opinion, this is just me now. This bad standing thing is a way of suppressing the vote so that only their side can actually get the ballots. Staley, didn't they have a situation where didn't they have a situation where the vote, the ballots went to New Jersey?
Yes. Yeah, of course. And that's where I had a problem at because they're not supposed to have went over state lines, number one,
Yep.
and number two, and they didn't inform anybody of it. I mean, people are aware of it. So, anything could have happened
Yeah,
to the balance.
right. Ballots can wind up in the side of the road
Yeah,
through
exactly.
transportation.
Exactly. So that's why that was a violation. And of course, the election monitor did deny the protest, and that's because the election monitor gonna rule on the side where the money is at. So that's
Okay.
why I said this election people should pay attention to who's going to be the election monitor and who's going to be the lawyer for the election period to oversee the entire election. We're not going to have Castro this time. Castro retired,
Right.
so we I guess they're going to put somebody in there that they can manipulate, and it'll be the same status quo, and we need to be aware of that.
Now, isn't it true that when all of the parties come together, there's a meeting, and at that particular point, we can raise these type of issues?
Yeah. The first meeting when they're starting the early stages of the election. This should happen around September, around about September. And there'll be a meeting of all the possible candidates that are running. And you'll get the chance to meet the election monitor, lawyers, and whatever. And if you have a problem with any of them, that's when you could put in your protest against them.
Very good. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up. Brother Ward, final word to the stations department pertaining bad standings, members, and things of that nature, sir. Give it to me.
Like I said, if you're not sure, make that phone call. Call the union and ask them, what's your standards? All members need to find out if you're not sure, because this is a real important vote that's coming up, and your voice needs to be heard. I know you're tired of the nonsense just like we are. So let's get on board.
Brother Block, a final word to the stations department.
Y'all better pay attention to us, because the union ain't telling you nothing. This is self-explanatory. I want to see that list too. Because see, I never knew they had a list with all the people in bad standing, but all the people in bad standing is in office. So something got to be wrong there. Help me out. That's it.
All I can say is this is not a game. Okay, this is a war, and the price is great. We as members, we must do our job to prevent, and I'm going to use the terminology clear, to prevent Stand United from winning one more time. Brother Munoz, what you say?
Yeah, Staying United, they've done everything they can to stay in office. It's time that we hold them to accountable, let them follow the rules the way they were written, not let them break the rules, And it's time for change. People, you got to wake up. You got to make sure that you make sure that your address is correct with the union, because they're gonna try to play games and not send you that ballot. Make sure that you're in good standing, because if you're not in good standing and you're sick of these people that are in charge right now, if you're not gonna do anything about it, they're gonna stay there for years. This is the most important election because management is flexing their muscle like they never had before. And that's because the union has let them get away with stuff. It's gonna get worse if these guys stay in office. So do what you have to do to get them out.
And just a reminder, I want everyone to hear this. Over 3,000 members in good standing did not receive their ballots in the last election. The day of the count, people were calling, what am I supposed to do with my ballot? I said, no, nothing, because what are you supposed to do with it? You just got it. Okay. One more thing before, one more thing. Munoz, talk to me about the way that they send the ballots out during the holidays. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, they think they're slick. Instead of having these elections in October or December, they have it in November. Okay, right between the beginning of the second week of November to the end of November. Now, in between, you have Veterans Day and you have Thanksgiving. Okay, we all know Veterans Day, the post office is closed. We all know Thanksgiving, the post office is closed. We know Black Friday, which is the Friday after Thanksgiving. Most people are too full of turkey that they ain't gonna get out of the living room just to go to the post office and mail this ballot. So and there's no mail service on Sundays. So you got 3 Sundays that you can't mail anything out. You got 2 holidays that you can't mail anything out. And then you got that Friday, which people go shopping or people watch football games or they finish eating turkey. They don't want to move. Okay, so that's 6 days that you're missing out on sending out this ballot. So it's not really 3 weeks. They say they got 3 weeks, 21 days to receive that ballot and mail it back. No, it's not. Do the math. It's actually more like 14 days.
You think this is done on purpose?
Of course. Come on.
Of course.
Of course. I mean, do it in October then. Do it in September. Do it in December. Why November when there's 2 holidays?
Final word to the stations department, Anthony Staley.
The best advice I can give anybody that's interested in these elections, and I think everybody should be, because this is about your livelihoods and your future on this job, is to pay attention to what's going on around you. Sometimes take a backseat approach and let people just talk and get an idea of who's going to do what, who's going to really put in that effort to represent you the way you feel you need to be represented. And most important, don't wait too long when it comes to balloting about, waiting for it to get a ballot. Immediately jump on that, because if it's not there when it should be there, 9 times out of 10, they already been your ballot has already been manipulated. So don't wait too long to call for a ballot. Call as soon as possible.